Get ready for some great music and great stories. Band in Seattle starts right now. Welcome to Band in Seattle. I'm Xander Denke, and with me is Casey Carter, avid supporter of the local music scene as well as the founder of The Blow Up, a site catering to the independent artist, to talk about tonight's bands, Jupe Jupe and the Gods themselves.
Coming up is Jupe Jupe, a local quartet with waves of haunting synthesizers, crooning vocals, jagged guitars, and pulsating beats.
So stick around, we'll be right back with Jupe Jupe.
So my name is actually Michael Young, but when I was in kindergarten, there were a lot of Mikes in my class, and my friends all started calling me Mai, so it just kind of stuck. And so now I'm Mai. And when I'm not in Jupe Jupe, I'm a web designer and graphic designer in Seattle. I think being in a band, in a way, when you're on stage, you're kind of playing a characterization of yourself. Every show it's very nerve-wracking. You're fighting your brain because you know you want to do this thing really bad, but it's also very scary sometimes, especially if you mess up or something, and then you have to get back on track and hope that no one noticed. And if they do, you're just like whatever. But yeah, it takes confidence.
The ones you've crossed before are at the door. You set your sights with rants on rights and riots. All alone, posting to my phone.
Brian and I were originally in kind of a space rock, progressive rock band in Austin. We moved up here. We met Patrick and another fella, and we formed a band called Pleasure Craft, and that was a synth pop band, and we played around Seattle for a long time, and that band eventually disbanded. And Brian and I were kind of like, well, what are we gonna do? We gotta do something. Maybe we should just start a band here. We asked Patrick to join us, and he said yes. And then we had worked on one song previously with Jared, and we thought he was a fantastic drummer, so we asked him, and he said yes, and then all of a sudden we had two other guys backing us up. And just having that energy on stage was really fun.
You know, I typically tell people we play kind of danceable, dark pop. I might say new wave.
I like to be very accessible and love to just anybody off the street, to hear the music and just start moving to it. That's the kind of music that I want to play. I think that's what we do.
Pieces of You is kind of a dancey post-punk song. We wanted to write something that would be upbeat, have some jarring guitars in it, but still have a nice dreamy chorus. Definitely a nod to a lot of the post-punk stuff from the 80s.
Pieces of You, that's like a straightforward kind of mournful dance new wave song. I always like the breakdown in the middle. Everything kind of drops out, and Brian and I kind of have this sort of this call and response guitar part.
We're a little bit older than a lot of the bands we play with, and we've been doing this forever. And I think at this point, if you're gonna keep doing it, you kind of have to be a little bit more focused, especially with so many things that happen in life. I think just years of experience, you learn what works and doesn't work in music. For you, I mean, everybody has their own opinion, but I think that that's That's probably what comes across is experience.
Thanks a lot, guys. We're Jupe Jupe. Seeing you before me, the story starts again.
Working with Mai is great. He's got a great voice. And I think one of the things that's really important to us is that we really make sure the lead thing in the band is his voice.
It's a very 50s kind of voice. Just adds a pleasing, kind of dark, kind of sad dimension to it.
But everything's the same, and the world is not to blame for all the things we
He's a real dedicated synthesizer guy, and there's not a whole lot of those, so he really actually knows synthesis. It really opens up a palette, a sound palette that we can really explore that is really exciting.
It probably started because I didn't really know how to play well when I was younger, and so the best thing I could do is dive into making the cool sounds to get away with whatever I didn't actually know how to play. Something About Love is our kind of more of a dark disco synth pop song.
That's always been one of my favorites, and one of my favorites to play live. It's got bits of the composer in all the old Sergio Leone spaghetti western movies.
We have this break in the verse there that Brian wrote. We wanted to sneak in a few maybe like 70s Italian film score type lines, and so there's this very cool guitar line that Brian plays in the verse.
Mai and Brian take care of the bass. They program that in ahead of time. I do try and play parts that kind of click in with what Jared's doing. We try and be like a solid rhythm section.
A lot of times we'll get some of the lower end rhythms, whether they're sequenced in earlier, but I think that's part of what the drums carry and bring to the songs is it's a little bit more pronounced. In high school we had to take a test. My results came back. Number one result was interior designer, and the fallback was musician. I laughed it off. That's hilarious. It's taken a long time, but drums have always been a part of it, as well as my day job, architecture and design. I see those two things going hand in hand.
Brian is an amazing arranger. He knows a ton about music theory. He can play guitar, he can play sax, he can play bass, he can play keyboards. He's just an awesome instrumentalist and writer, and he's been fantastic to work with for all these years.
I work here as a middle school counselor. I was not a very good student. I didn't feel good in school. I didn't feel like I was really connected until that band class. One of the reasons I studied music wasn't so much that I had any kind of great talent for it, it's just I felt good doing it. I hope I remember that with my students. Just because they come here every day doesn't mean they feel good, and helping them find something that they feel good doing and helping them find for themselves what they like doing just on a human level is important. is the person in the band who, without a doubt, carries so much of the energy, what we need sometimes.
You know, what's the alternative? You go home and watch TV. It's a fun thing to do. We're all best friends.
I think without doing this, I'd be really, spinning out. Like, I have to have that outlet of making music, and so that is the balance.
It's constantly evolving. We're always talking about how to better improve the band, how to gain more exposure. We're always looking for greater opportunities just to get more people to see us. I always want more, so.
Now it's time for the gods themselves, who curate many sounds reminiscent of everything from 1970s garage rock to 1980s Talking Heads-esque male-female lead vocal bop to 1990s acid fuzz rock.
So stick around, we'll be right back with the gods themselves.
We definitely like to open with Guido because it's bam, it's like, it starts and we're off right away.
Place to begin in my head, then keep me all by myself. Baby, I don't want to do that with you. All of my...
In the beginning, it was Colin and Damien and myself. Damien, unfortunately, had to leave us because he's very busy. So he didn't have time to be a full-time god, but he will always be an honorary god. I was into punk rock when I was a teenager. That was where I first became comfortable with expressing my identity. It was a rebellion of sorts, but it was also largely a community, and I really enjoyed belonging to it. Atomic Bride was a collection of 5 people, 2 couples, and a drummer. And it was really a female-male kind of headbutting collaboration.
I've known Astra for about 8 years. It's just great to see how much more she has evolved and just become an amazing guitar player as well as a singer.
There was no more hiding behind the keys or the other guitar player or the bass player. I now actually have to master my instrument. So. The gods themselves was both welcoming and challenging in that aspect. The Gods Themselves name was taken from an Isaac Asimov novel. And in the book, there is actually an alternate universe where there are 3 beings required to reproduce, 2 males and a female. And it was just perfect for us, so I nabbed it. On the Meds is actually a song about drugs. Feel alone, you can pick up the phone and enter the zone. On the meds, they will take you away, they will lead you astray, so take it easy. On the meds. The phrase "on the meds" can apply to a lot of different things. And if you listen to the song, you can see how it relates to a journey of being on the meds.
Boys, don't cry, dry your eye, you're about to get high on the meds. He's only minutes away. I got my money rented. Why does time move so very slow?
The three of us have a magical synergy when we play together, but Colin and Dustin specifically have a really intense, tight rhythm thing going on. They complement each other really well, and together they just lay down this groove that is almost impossible to stay still around. So unfortunately, Dustin didn't play on the show with us, but we will be playing many live shows around town, so you'll have a chance to see him then.
Doing too well, you are locked in a cell.
Damien was really a significant contributor to the band, and when he left, I knew I would have to find someone special to replace him, and Dustin came to mind.
She'd seen this video of me being Elvis, and she was impressed by it, so she reached out to me, you know, come be a part of this, and she really pitched it hard, and I said, like, what am I doing? I've got to do this. This is an awesome opportunity.
Arizona hot sand. I've got a million.
It wasn't so much a problem, but I'd never played baritone before. I play it like a bass, so there are 3 strings that I don't ever really use.
Having him and Astor up there in the front, they're both just so charismatic. They're born to be up there.
I am the president. I am the president.
Yeah, you voted for me.
I am the president. I am the president.
Colin O'Mara. I love his drumming style. He's really primal feeling.
He's got a really specific voice on the drums. He tends to not play what's expected. He plays his own kind of thing.
I really am not someone who craves the spotlight. I'm happy to be, you know, in the background doing my own thing.
I sing, and Astor sings. And Colin, so far as I know, he hasn't sung yet.
Last Chance for Love is a little bit of a surfy sounding love song.
Last chance for love. Last chance for love.
Say what you will, but don't believe yourself. Wrap your arms around me and hold me together. I could be struck at any time by thoughts that set me reeling, stumbling over details of the story I am spinning.
I'd love to get us to a place to where we could have some support and that I could just keep doing it all the time.
I've been broke and worked in call centers and worked in head jobs and done and scraped and scrounged. But in all that time, you never think about not doing music. Music is the reason that you're doing all that stuff.
It's such a rush performing, but I mean, for me, the best times I think that I enjoy are in here, you know, just playing with the people you play with. You know, it just feeds your soul. It's so vital.
The circumstances are going to be what they are. You'll have money or you won't have money, but I've never pawned a guitar.
Yesterday, Dustin said that he loves Thunderbird because it sounds like a storm happens when the guitars come in. It's a song about a car that I had. It was a '67 T-Bird, and I loved it to death. I could barely see over the wheel, but I just loved that car and I wanted to write a song about it. Balancing my passions is a challenge and something that I've always been fine-tuning, and I'm sure I will be for the rest of my life. But it certainly goes in the order of band, dog, and then boyfriend.
Well, that's it for tonight's Band in Seattle. If you want to hear more, check us out on bandinseattle.com, where you can hear full concerts and find links for more information about our bands and where they're playing next.
And to stay up with the latest on the music scene, check out my website, MissCaseyCarter.com, where you can check out more about the Blow Up, where we cater to the independent artist.
You won't regret it. Thank you again for watching. Join us next week for more great music and great stories on Band in Seattle.